Welcome back, dear viewers. You're still watching The Breakfast Show live on Nile TV International, and it's now time for our second and final topic for discussion for today. And we're going to be tackling the Egyptian tourism sector, which has witnessed huge progress recently under the leadership of Rani al-Mashot, a very energetic minister, and also we have seen a lot of promotions on foreign and international media outlets. And to shed more light on this topic, we're most delighted to be joined here in the studio by Mrs. Nagham, and she's the Regional Director of the Sales and Marketing Department of a series of hotels. First of all, Mrs. Nagham, good morning, and thank you so much for joining.
Good morning, delighted to be with you.
Good morning, Mrs. Nagham. Let's first talk about promoting tourism and promoting vacational entities like companies, especially in summertime in different seasons. Does it have a certain policy?
It's not a policy, but let's talk...
Certain plans, maybe?
Of course. You usually, all the hotels are having trends for the market that you study ahead of time. Of course, we had a season already, so we had certain trends happening that usually the marketing and the sales would work on it to analyze it. Definitely you would be as well foreseeing the future, the forecasted trends and changes of the country. For example, for the sake of explaining what it is, if we're having some infrastructure happening, so this means that the transportation would be easier to certain locations. So this means that you're encouraging the business into certain direction. Like, for the sake again of example, when we had Marsa Alam, there was nobody knowing what's Marsa Alam. We started having an airport, we started having infrastructure where you could have a bus, you had the public transportation. So all these aspects as trend for this destination would encourage that you sell the destination. So you build on the factors that's around this destination in order to build your forecast for this area. And accordingly, you start to put your strategies for the sales. And that's why you would see a destination more expensive in summer, because these are the peak periods for the summer, while in winter it's less capacity, so you would like to encourage the business to this area. So you go, as we call, dynamic in rates, meaning that you go up according to the season, you go down according to the season, and according to the business coming to this destination. This would apply, of course, not only for the pricing, but it will apply for everything.
If you can tell us also about the impact of promotional videos and teasers on encouraging tourism to certain destinations that are not highlighted or that do not have traffic as much as it deserves.
That's a very good question, actually, because technology now and the social media sharing data about certain areas is the main gate, as we call it even here in Egypt, EG gate, new window to Egypt. This is how you could show everybody, especially that now the technology is very quick. You could easily open your mobile, search the engines, find
publish digital platforms, get traffic, and reach a lot of people.
Exactly. So in order to introduce anything new now, the easiest and the quickest way, of course to a certain level, which is the B2B or B2C, what we call it business to customer, not business to business. Business to business is a bit different. So if you're talking to the individuals like us, in our normal life, you would search any of the engines like Google, like other engines, and you would search what you have. So videos would be a flying information. Experience of the customer is a flying information, especially if I am, let's say, a foreigner from any country. So you put it on your own local media, meaning if you're in England, the British would look into their websites, so they would find the experience of another British customer. So he is addressing the same nation with the same language, giving the same experience, so he would be trusted, and the customer would be confident that what his nation have said about this area, shared the video, the experience, would be more effective. And that's why when we search for companies marketing for Egypt, we try to get the company from its source, so that it's thinking the same way of the nation itself, the same culture, which is making it very effective. So sharing it on YouTube now is very easy. Anybody can share it on YouTube.
And also, just to add, they would also be very aware of the media consumption habits of their citizens.
Exactly, exactly. Put all this together. If you are a foreigner here in Egypt and you're having a certain experience and you're sharing it, it just flies to your family, and your family would take
Spread
it as as a beautiful experience or a memory that you keep and what have happened. So it's a great opportunity actually to feature any new destination, any new product, showing what's the best to be done, the beauty of Egypt, especially that we have a lot of things and real good things to show.
Right, and let me take it from where you ended it here, and maybe that's why the social media have made it a lot more easier and have taken promotional campaigns to a whole new level when it comes to promoting for hotels, we're promoting for charming spots, promoting for destinations, touristic destinations, like the travelers experience pages, for example, that you talked about, or the most popular destinations and everything. This have changed the concept of promotional campaigns. And maybe that's why people-to-people documentary
Had its success.
had that boom amongst people worldwide, not only in Egypt. How did the idea start? And tell us about the people-to-people. Is it taking the promotional campaigns to another level that depends on a word of mouth, maybe?
Promotional campaigns now is becoming an art. It's something studied. It's not just saying we will do a promotion. You have really to study what's around this promotion in order to market properly the message. You have to have a message. And if you look into a video and there is no message, then at the end you would say, what does it mean? What does the author or the producer wants to say? So this is the content. So people to people was a great opportunity to show something that's very important to Egypt. One of the important things in Egypt is the nation. We are more than 90 million. So you have to capitalize on this. And very important factor is hotels is a service, not a product. You're selling a service, something that's not tangible. So I cannot tell you, I will give you 3 centimeters times 5 centimeters cup of tea. So it's a service. And the service goes around one thing, what the people are offering, what the person is offering. And we're known in Egypt that we are generous. Hospitality is part of our culture. We try to help. So you have to capitalize on this,
spirit,
I would say,
Egyptian
treasure. It's a treasure. People is the treasure of the hotels. If you have a beautiful building and the service is bad, what would happen? And mind you,
no business.
Exactly. And mind you here that this marketing tool, as much as it flies positive, it can fly the negative. So you have to be very careful, what are you marketing? Coming back to people, of course, it was a very successful one. It capitalized on the human element. and which is the important factor of our culture, this vibrant culture of hospitality, of generosity, of being very nice to customers. You want to show them everything, you want to help them. So it capitalized on what we should show, taking into consideration that we are now into this direction. All the conferences that's happening is youth to youth, people to people. You want the generation to understand another generation, youth to understand the youth, where they can start talking, communication. So this is the meaning of a real communication between the people who are attending this conference and the others from two different nations. So it really clears a lot of information because it's a personal communication. If you were worried about something and you would like to ask me, I will be giving you the proper communication, what to do and what not to do, what's happening in Egypt, how to act in Egypt, and so on. So this have clarified a lot of things. It had clarified as well the history, along the history, what's happening. It have given what's happening in the history and what's the continuity now. It has shown the culture, the nature, the spots of Egypt with a very let's say professional title. This is your morning breakfast overlooking the Nile. So it shows a lot. It has the message that we're talking about, and that's why it was really successful, and it won an award as well in September from the UN WTO.
Also, you had mentioned in your talk about something, EG Gate.
Yes.
Can you please elaborate on that?
EG Gate is a project that Egypt has been working on, ministries in particular, Ministry of Tourism in cooperation with some private sector, to develop a real elaborated, up-to-date, fashionable, trendy, easy accessible thing where you could discover Egypt. So it has a discovery of Egypt, a window to everything. It's like a promotional window whereby you could get information about Egypt, especially in the direction of the tourism. So it not only tourism, but of course it has some other parts where you could find out the products. We are known for handicrafts as well and specialized things. So it started with the travel, what to do, climate, time, where to go in Egypt, programs, how you get into the programs, hotels, and so on. So it's a detailed one, in addition to the products, because products is a significant thing and a very remarkable thing. If you look into countries and you would like to remember Russia, you would say the matryoshka, the small doll. So here you have a lot of things that you could sell, and it's very memorable for the tourist who will be here. Alabaster, copper products, leather products. So these are the products that you could buy from Egypt, and it could be very memorable for the customer. So it elaborates everything, and it's the method where a customer, a tourist, anybody who would like to come to Egypt, whether for tourism direction or for an economical direction as well, it helps, because when you talk about products, there is a lot of things that can be imported and exported from Egypt. So part of this is the products, not only B2C here, so it's business to business as well. It can support a lot the business to business in addition to business to customer.
Yes.
And let me take it from products to the different types of tourism. Egypt have been very popular amongst maybe the one of two countries or the only country worldwide that you have all the types of tourism.
Yes.
Add to that the conference tourism also that started booming a few years ago. You have the medical, you have the education, the religious tourism, you have resort tourism, and all types of tourism, even gastronomy.
Yes.
So with these types of tourism come also the different types of tourists. each tourist come for a different type of tourism. So how do you function with that? I mean, how do you orchestrate that as touristic experts or tourism experts? Do you start creating different tourism programs for a certain nationality, I mean group nationality, or what?
As you said, Egypt is having a diversity of programs to sell, but in order to tailor that, you have to study what are you going to do. If there is a hotel that doesn't have a conference center, then you will not be able to promote it. If you are having a hotel without a beach, you cannot promote a beach. You have to promote what you have in the first place. So this is how you work with it according to what you have, what the place you are selling. But here we're talking destination. I think your question is addressing the destinations, not the hotels in particular. For the destination, each destination is having its, again, qualifications. So if we're talking, for example, Cairo, we have conference centers, so you have to promote conferences, whether individually via the private sector or on the sector
or
of
we
the
talk
government.
seasons, maybe also.
It has everything actually. Conferences does not have much seasons. The nationality would have seasons
Exactly.
to come. But if you are having a medical conference, you invite all doctors from all over the world, irrelevant to the season. So, but when you build the strategy, you would sell, let's say, Aswan in winter. You wouldn't sell it in summer. Other countries would do certain promotions, like when you have in Dubai, on the low season, the shopping festival. So this is how you address each segment that you're having. So if you're talking resorts, some resorts are winter resorts, some are summer resorts. So if you're talking Sharm, you could promote it in winter rather than summer because of the heat. So you study, again, it's a kind of part of the trends, which is the climate, which is the actual situation that you're in, whether seasonality, availability, and so on. So that's why how you build your strategy for it. And of course, you tailor dedicated programs for each thing in order to attract the target market and target clientele.
Mrs. Nagham Mohammed, the Regional Director of Sales and Marketing Department of a series of hotels. Thank you so much for your insight, and thank you so much for being with us on The Breakfast Show.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for coming. You have a beautiful day.
And dear viewers, just a quick recap. We talked about the importance of micro, small, and medium enterprises, and also the tourism sector in Egypt, and how can we promote it through the different platforms and channels. Dear viewers, you're in the company of myself, Karim Jamaluddin, and Dina Hussein.
Thank you very much, Karim. My pleasure.
Thank you. And dear viewers, tomorrow is another crew, and from us, this is goodbye.